Vision boarding is an amazing way to achieve everything you want for the year ahead. In this video, I'm going to be going through everything on my 2024 vision board that has come true and hopefully giving you some inspiration for creating your own vision board for 2025. Hello, welcome to this video. My name's Lucy if you're new to my channel, and I am a 23-year-old living in London. This video is going to be all about vision boards. I've made a vision board for the last 4 years now, and every year everything pretty much has happened that I put on my vision board at the start of the year. I'm really excited to make a new one. That's going to be in the second video in this mini 2-part series. First video is going to be running you through everything in my 2024 vision board and just kind of explaining my motivations, how I achieved some of these things, how some of the things that I put on there have kind of happened out of, you know, serendipity or whatever you'd like to call it. And it's just been a really fun way to see progress throughout the year. I absolutely love making a vision board, and I'm going to run you through everything that I put on my 2024 vision board in this video. So I hope you enjoy. Give it a like if you find it useful, and subscribe for more videos like this. So first of all, I'm gonna give a little intro into why I think vision boards are a really useful tool, and then I'll go into the 3 different kind of sections on my 2024 vision board. The first one is more habits and systems and mindsets that I've put in a visual form on my vision board that have really created an impression of the kind of sense that I want going into the year, which I feel like has come true this year, which is amazing. The second section is more tangible things that I want to experience, things that I want to accomplish, specific goals, and those have been scattered throughout the year. And then the third section is all those things that I felt were really ambitious, big goals at the start of the year. First of all, why vision boards? I think you can approach vision boards from 2 kind of different perspectives. The first one is more of a logical, scientific perspective, where you're approaching this from the idea that because you're exposed to these images more often, you're seeing them on your laptop home screen, for example, or on your wall every day, or however often you see these images, you're going to be more likely to believe that it's possible for you. Your kind of subconscious is seeing these images and being subtly reminded that it's possible to achieve this or have this kind of aspect in your life. You're kind of reminding yourself that this is what you wanted for the year as well, because how often do we write down these goals for the year ahead and then never look at them again? So it's a nice way to kind of keep that fresh, keep that in your mind as you're going through the year. Maybe you have kind of some opportunity come up and you then think, hang on a minute, that's what I wanted at the start of the year. And because you're seeing it often, you're in that moment and you're reminded that, oh yeah, that is kind of what I intended, and so I'm going to take that opportunity. Or you can approach it from a different perspective, which is more of a manifestation, spiritual universe perspective. And to be honest, I think both of these are equally valid. So this second perspective is more about the visualization side of things. If you're imagining yourself in the position of someone who has achieved these things that you want for the year ahead, then by the time you come to do them, you've kind of already rehearsed that mentally, and so you're attracting those things into your life. They become easier to achieve, and yeah, maybe you believe in the universe kind of bringing in what you want into your life, and therefore if you know what you want, it's going to be easier for you to kind of be in alignment with that and to be attracting that into your life. Regardless which perspective, I think it's an amazing tool, and like I said, I've done this for 4 years in a row now. Every year it has basically always all come true. So let's get stuck into it. Okay, this is my 2024 vision board. I'm going to put it on the screen now. This is the general idea, and this is what I've had on my laptop every day. Whenever I open my laptop, I'll take a minute to kind of look at the different images, and there's kind of a progression throughout the year. So top left hand corner is things that I wanted for the start of the year, kind of systems and habits that I wanted to really set up. And then as we went through the year, it becomes almost less certain that I'm going to achieve them, and the goals become bigger, it's further away in time, so you're less kind of sure of if it's going to happen. So section 1, setting up habits, systems and mindsets. So let's start from the very first image. We have this image of Chichester, and to give some context, at the start of this year I had just come back from a 4.5 month trip around Southeast Asia and Australia, which was amazing, and this kind of followed 4 years of being at university. So up until this point, everything had been pretty structured and I'd had somewhat of a plan. And then coming into January, I had the whole year ahead of me, basically didn't have any real direction aside from moving out and getting a job, or getting a job and moving out is probably more accurate. So anyway, I was living at my parents' house in January, and first of all, I was kind of deciding whether I wanted to move in with my girlfriend and her parents, or whether to stay at home with my parents. And this was kind of for the interim period while we were job hunting, working, saving up money before we hopefully would get jobs. Anyway, I decided that I wanted to be in Chichester where my girlfriend lives, and that this would be a really nice chunk of time for me to feel settled, set up these habits and routines. So that's what this kind of first image symbolises. And even at the start of the year, deciding to go and live with my girlfriend's family was quite a big decision, and it felt really scary. So it just goes to show, it's funny how things can seem really, really scary when you haven't done them before. I then had this little quote which says, "I think you absolutely know what to do. You've just been convinced that you don't." I really have been trying to work on my sense of self-confidence this year. I've been trying to be a bit more assertive and to kind of go after the things that I want rather than just fitting the mold and doing what everyone else wants to do. This was kind of approaching the year from like a careers perspective, following what I actually wanted to do, not just any job that came up, and also just from a more like personal growth, feeling grounded in myself, knowing what I wanted to do perspective. So I love that quote, and yeah, it's been a nice little reminder to see the kind of feelings that I wanted throughout the year. I then have some kind of fitness things, so I wanted to set up a regular gym routine and a regular kind of running and fitness routine, which I pretty much did. I think for the first, like, to be honest, for the whole year, I've had like a pretty good routine. When I was in Chichester, I was going to the gym like twice a week, which for me was a good amount. And yeah, it was a really, really fun way to feel like I was progressing in something, even when you're sending out all these job applications and maybe getting nothing back. It was a nice progress builder as I went through the year, and this was kind of an aspect of routine that I was really excited to get back into my life, was the whole, you know, fitness mindset, going and saying I'm going to do something and following through with it. So yeah, I feel like I have achieved the running and the gym routines, particularly in the first half of the year, which was great. I then have these really cute little cows and a rainbow, and this is just a little reminder to myself to not get too bogged down in all of the details, not get too kind of consumed by things, and to just, you know, go out in nature and find those little moments of casual magic and joy, and to kind of lean into that. The next one I have along is a barista. And again, even this at the start of the year felt like really just out of my reach in a way. Not that I didn't think I'd be capable of being a barista, but just I had absolutely nothing set up at the start of the year. So even this was like, okay, this is the first step. This is what I need to do. And I did indeed have one of those aprons with the little tie around at the back. I learned how to do all of the lovely latte art. Maybe I'll put a few photos on the screen, and made some really nice friends through working at the cafe that I worked at. I also did some work at the local pool as a swimming teacher, and I was doing some online tutoring as well. So this was kind of my image to show that I wanted to be saving up money, working whenever I could to kind of build up that savings pot for the next step. And yeah, to be honest, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the customer interactions for the most part, and just generally having that kind of community around work. It was really, really nice. It is tiring working in customer service, but yeah, that has been ticked off the list. Okay, the next two are, again, more like mindset kind of things, so I wanted to include them in this first section. So this little quote says, "Because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world. Our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance." For me, this really, really accurately sums up the kind of mindset that I've been trying to build this whole year, because it is really, really true that if you're not being your authentic self in social situations with others, then they are not going to be able to align with your authentic self, and you can never fully fit into a group if you're not presenting yourself authentically in that situation. If you're kind of coming into it with these walls up, with guards up, kind of masking or just being not fully open, not fully expressive, then you're never going to be able to allow the inner you to connect fully with the other person, because how can they ever tap into this hidden version of yourself if you're not letting that out? That's not on them, that's on you at that point. So yeah, just kind of a little reminder that self-acceptance has to be the starting point in order for you to feel like you belong to a group, to have that sense of community. You kind of have to show up as yourself, otherwise you're only going to have this maybe surface level interaction no matter how amazing these people are. So yeah, I've been really trying to build that inner level of self-acceptance this year, and I think it's worked. I think it's always a work in progress, but I do genuinely feel a lot more confident. As I was talking about in a little video that I did, very impromptu, in a hotel room in Paris recently, you can watch that video here. But yeah, I feel like I've made some progress on that, so if you're interested, go and watch that video. Okay, so those were all the things in the first section when I was really trying to just establish some sense of routine, some sense of progression, and making some little baby steps towards the kind of main overall goals that I had for the year, which were to get a full-time, career job and to move out. So those were kind of like my early first steps throughout the year, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, honestly. It took a lot longer than I thought to find a job. A lot of job rejections. It's tough out there. Like, if anyone's doing that at the moment, then sending you like good vibes and patience because it will happen. It just takes a lot of time, honestly. So yeah, section 2 is all of these more tangible things that I wanted to experience, some little goals, particularly for the first section of the year, and a lot of them have come true. Like, basically all of these have come true. So the first one that I have down in that bottom corner is the moonwalk. So this was a marathon walk that my friends from school and I did in May. It starts at about 10-11 p.m. and you walk all through the night throughout London, and we finished at about 7:30, 8 a.m. So it was a long walk. It was really, really fun until we got to about mile 20, and then you kind of realise you've still got like 6 miles to go, which doesn't sound like that much, but when you've already walked 20 miles and it's still like 2 more hours of walking, your feet are dead, your legs are like shaking by this point. I was knackered. It was a long walk, but it was a great challenge. We raised quite a bit of money for the breast cancer charity that we were fundraising for. It was really fun, and I can definitely tick it off this year. Okay, so the next one I have is kind of a cool little manifestation example. So I knew that we already had tickets to see the Eras tour, and we went to the Eras tour in June up in Liverpool. So we had these tickets, and I put this on there because, I knew I was going to see Taylor. I was really excited for it, but I really wanted to see this particular white dress. This is one of her folklore dresses. It's this gorgeous white dress, and I don't know, I just put it on there because it's like one of my favourite outfits that she wears on the show, and I just thought, maybe I'll try and manifest seeing that dress in person and seeing her perform in it. Anyway, we went to the Liverpool show. Incredible. Paramore as well, my god, so good. Hayley Williams. But yeah, Taylor was incredible, had an amazing time, and just a really, really fun weekend at Liverpool as well. But sadly, she didn't wear the white dress, and I was somewhat like, oh, it's a shame, but I kind of convinced myself that this was just on there because I wanted to see Taylor. Anyway, then a few months later, it was August, and my friend Aidan sent a message on the group chat and said, guys, I can get Taylor tickets for tomorrow night. And they were like 56 quid, same as what we paid the first time. And I was like, are you joking me? So anyway, 4 of us went. Soph, Aidan, Freya and I went to the concert in London this time at Wembley, and I loved the Liverpool show, but this was incredible. I think something about Wembley Stadium is just amazing because you can see the whole stadium. With Wembley, it's all open. It's just spectacular. It was incredible, and she wore the white dress. She wore the white dress and she came on stage and I was like, are you joking me? And yeah, that was really, really cool. Very, very special moment. I'm very, very glad that we got to see her twice. It was incredible. And just a little moment of time. It's that kind of feeling of like all of the Swifties coming into the stadium in their costumes. It was a really nice moment to be part of, especially as the concert was so huge and like such a cultural moment. And I can't believe it's over now. I think it's like almost finished. So yeah, crazy, but such an amazing night. Let's continue because this is going to be a long video. So some other things that I had on here, I had some flowers and a little shot of a city in the Netherlands because I really wanted to do a trip to the Netherlands. This didn't end up happening, but it was kind of because there was still so much uncertainty around jobs. I kind of imagined at the start of the year that I'd get a job maybe like May, June time. Didn't end up happening until September. But Freya and I did go to Barcelona, which was a really, really nice little 3-4 day trip in April. So not too mad about it, but I still would love to go to the Netherlands. So that's on the cards. Let's rattle through a few of these. Pottery making. I have done pottery painting twice this year. I haven't actually got to do the pottery like spinning on the wheel. It's very expensive, can't lie, but really enjoyed the 2 times that I went to do pottery painting. It's so relaxing, very absorbing, love it as a little activity to do. I also have a photo of some in-person kind of yoga classes, and there was a period where I was going to some yoga classes in Chichester, which I loved, really, really liked that teacher a lot. Then I moved away, so sad to kind of find that at the last minute. But this picture is kind of to symbolise like a sense of community and finding, you know, like leaning into that spiritual side, leaning into practicing yoga more often. And since I've moved to London, I have actually joined More Yoga, which is like a yoga subscription, and you can go to however many classes you want in the month. I would say that it's typically London in that everyone kind of sticks to themselves. So this is more of an ongoing one. I would love to find a little bit of a community around yoga, meditation, etc. So maybe I'll slide that forward to next year. But I have been taking action on this, which I think is the main thing really. And just trying to put myself in those situations, but definitely could do more in terms of going out of my way to chat to people in those situations, I think. I also have some journaling and kind of spiritual things, a little photo of the girl hugging the tree, which is just to kind of symbolise taking some time to be in nature and appreciating it, and I definitely have done that, particularly when I wasn't living in London. I love nature. I love going on walks, and I care a lot about the planet and the climate crisis, and spend a lot of time kind of thinking and reading about that, more like less than I probably would like to, and I'd like to maybe do some more action on that, but more in next week's video for my 2025 vision board. Another tangible one that I have is Pride, and I did in fact go to Brighton Pride this summer. I hadn't been to Pride before and it was a great experience. It was a really fun day, really, really nice to kind of have a group of us there. I went with some of Freya's family, her cousins and her sisters, and our friend Aidan came as well. So yeah, it was a really fun day, really empowering, really fun, especially seeing the parade. I think that's got to be the best bit of the day. And then down the bottom I have 2 very inspirational women. The idea behind these photos being on there was that I wanted to have more conversations on my podcast about kind of feminism and speaking with women quite openly about their experiences and hearing about how they have done what they've done. I kind of have like pushed the podcast to one side in favour of doing YouTube, but this is still something I'd love to learn more about, and I still find these 2 women incredibly inspiring. The first one is Jess Wade. She's basically written up Wikipedia pages for all of these women in science that haven't had any recognition and haven't had any, even like a Wikipedia page made about them, and it's kind of addressing the gap, the gender gap. I just love that idea, and she's literally like taken it upon herself to write thousands of Wikipedia pages in her spare time to promote women, and I just love that as a concept. I love that she's so just proactive about it and like solutions focused. So that's kind of the energy that I was trying to symbolise with that photo of Jess Wade. And then also similarly Mae Jemison. She was the first black woman in space and just very cool and inspiring, so that's why she's on there. And the final more tangible kind of experience thing that I wanted for this year that I've put on my vision board was just being outside, kind of a summer of reading outside, a summer of being outside in nature, and this photo of a girl reading her book by a river just kind of symbolised that to me. Just, you know, taking time to go on these little solo dates and learn new things, be in nature, just enjoying the summer vibes, reading outside. Okay, we're getting towards the end now. Section 3 are those things that at the start of the year felt very ambitious and that I really wasn't sure if they were going to happen. So the first one obviously is moving to London. So I have these photos of a girl on a bus, Primrose Hill, and also kind of a rainy day with a London bus. And the reason I chose a rainy day photo was because I really wanted to kind of romanticize it, even on those days where it doesn't feel as cute. It's kind of a bit grey, a bit rainy, it's winter. A day like today, to still kind of find those little moments, those little pockets of magic, and just to embrace the fact that I'm living in the city that I've wanted to live in for years. There's definitely parts of it that aren't that romantic and aren't that like lovely, but for the most part I am enjoying it. In the part 2 of this video I'll speak more about how I want to kind of embrace London next year and really just soak up the city and all of the little things that I want to do. So stay tuned for that. This is Editing Lucy, and I realised that I completely forgot to say anything about getting a job, which was kind of like the premise of if I was going to be able to move to London, I would have needed a job. So to me, like those pictures went hand in hand with having a job, but it was definitely a big goal that I was working towards for like the majority of the year. So just thought I would have to mention it now, and I did in fact get a job, so we love to see it. Okay, we're on to the penultimate one. This is a little photo of Megan Short, and it's mostly just that she's run a race. I really wanted to kind of set myself a challenge to run any distance really, and to commit to running a race. And so it got to maybe like September time, and I was looking at this vision board, and this is an example of where it's a great tool to keep reminding yourself of your goals for the year, because I don't think this one would have happened if I hadn't had this on my vision board. And I saw it on my vision board in September, and I thought, you know what, like if I'm gonna make this happen, I kind of need to sign up for a race now, otherwise the year's gone. And so that's what I did. I just there and then signed up for a 10k race, and I did it, and I got the medal which is somewhere around. But yeah, I think it's just a nice example of how you can quite easily forget these goals and you can think, oh, I'll push it to next year. But if you have it on your page and you're seeing it all the time, you're kind of holding yourself a little bit more accountable for it. And yeah, glad that I did it, glad that I ran that race. And the final kind of picture that I have on here that I want to talk about is again a quote, and it just says, a lot can happen in a year. So true. A lot really can happen in a year, and I hope that this kind of inspires you to create your own vision board. I'll speak more about that next time. But it is such an amazing tool. It's just such a great way to have this kind of scope for what you want your year to be like. You can kind of pick photos that are representative of the feelings that you want as well. And I just think there's so much freedom to make it exactly what you want it to be. And just, yeah, this quote was kind of a little reminder to myself that even though it seems unattainable at the start of the year, a lot really can happen in a year. Even sitting here recording this video now in my room in London feels crazy. It feels like such a departure from where I was at the start of the year. I've really grown in confidence, I've grown in, yeah, just so many ways, and I'm really excited to carry that forward into 2025. So thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you've taken something useful out of it. Leave me a comment as to 3 things that you've achieved in 2024. I'd love to hear them, and yeah, let me know if this helped in any way. If you have any questions for how to create a vision board, leave them down below as well, and I'll answer them next week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely week ahead. Lots of love. I'll see you very soon. Bye.